Alright guys, Bitcoin just hit a very important support level and I actually took even more profit on my short right here because the next targets to the upside are now quite clear. Let me show you exactly what is going on. So in the previous video, Bitcoin was trading right at this daily level and the value area high of the fixed range volume profile, this whole resistance zone right here. And it was really struggling to break above it. And we said that Bitcoin was looking quite weak up there and that it could very well get rejected. If it does fail to break above, the next major target and support level is much lower, another daily level at 70,700 US dollars. And it's not just the daily level sitting there, it also aligns with the major golden pocket, not on the normal chart, but on the log scale. And what you're going to see right here is that Bitcoin did exactly that. It got rejected at the daily level and the value area high, sold off hard and tapped right into the golden pocket and the daily level almost to the dollar. And right now it's seeing a nice reaction off of that area. And as I said in the previous video, I would be looking to long if Bitcoin did push down into those levels. And that is exactly what I did. I entered a new long at approximately 70,950 US dollars. A little late, I'll be honest, but still a solid entry if this turns out to be a level where Bitcoin sees a meaningful bounce from. And before I continue with the exact targets I'm watching from here, I would really appreciate it if you guys are finding this helpful to like the video, subscribe to the channel because 200 subscribers is definitely possible, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. So now let's look at the targets and the resistance levels if Bitcoin does see a decent bounce from here. The first one is a more local target. If we take the fib retracement from this very recent high down to the current low, what you're going to see is that the golden pocket comes in right around 72,900 US dollars. And that by itself is already a decent target and a resistance level. But it doesn't stop there. There is another confluence right on top of it, this liquidity level sitting just slightly above the golden pocket. So we have the golden pocket and the liquidity level aligning very well at the same area. And that is definitely the first zone I'm watching in the short term if this bounce does happen. But if Bitcoin manages to break the level to the upside, there is still this daily level that remains unbroken for now. This is the exact level where Bitcoin got rejected very recently and where this whole current dip came from. But now it's not just the daily level. If you look right here, what you're going to see is that there is not one, not two, but actually 3 liquidity levels all stacked at the same zone, just slightly above the daily level. And it doesn't end there. If we take the fib retracement again, this time from the swing high down to the current low, and this time we don't use the 618 to 65 fib zone, but the 0.5 level, you'll see this major fib level also aligns perfectly with those liquidity levels. So we have the daily level, 3 liquidity levels and the 0.5 fib all stacking up at the same zone. And that is definitely a major target and a major resistance area for Bitcoin. And if we zoom out a little and take the trend line connecting these lower highs, what you're going to see is that the trend line also comes in right at those same levels in about 4 to 6 days from now. So everything is pointing to that zone being the big one to watch above. And these are the levels where I would be definitely looking to take profit on my long if Bitcoin does push up there. So both the local golden pocket zone and especially a major resistance area above are where I'll be locking in gains on this trade. Now let's open up the liquidation heat map first on the 3-day chart. And the first thing you're going to see is that there are no major liquidations sitting below where Bitcoin is trading right now. But what you will see is a major liquidation cluster right above the recent highs. And that is exactly where the daily level and 3 liquidity levels and the 0.5 fib retracement target are all sitting. So all of that confluence is lining up with a big pool of liquidity right above. And if we zoom out to the 1-week chart, you're going to see a very similar story. No real liquidations below the current price, but a lot of liquidity stacked up above the highs. So that area above is acting like a magnet and it just adds even more weight to that being the major target zone if Bitcoin does bounce from here. Now we also talked about the liquidity level sitting just slightly below the daily level that Bitcoin just hit, and that liquidity hasn't actually been swept just yet. So Bitcoin could very well go for a quick sweep of that level first before continuing to the upside. And if that does happen, I would be looking to add to my long down there, but of course with a stop loss. Because if Bitcoin fails to bounce and actually breaks below the daily level, the next support levels are unfortunately much lower, and let me show you exactly where. It does look like Bitcoin might potentially be forming some kind of a 5-wave count here. Now it's too early to tell exactly, but we can already calculate the levels for that possibility. So we have the wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4 and then wave 5. So let's take the fib extension and look at the target levels for this potential third wave. And what you're going to see is that one of the levels, the 618 to 65, was already hit to the dollar when Bitcoin tapped the daily level and the major golden pocket. And that would be a shorter wave 3, which is of course possible. But if the daily level gets broken, the 1-to-1 level comes in at $68,400 and that would be the next major target. And if Bitcoin doesn't get a bounce there either, the 1.618 is unfortunately the next one, and that is much lower. But what's interesting is that it aligns very well with a major liquidity level at around $65,000. So that is definitely a major level. That's of course only if Bitcoin gets an extended wave 3 and if this actually is another 5-wave count playing out. But in my opinion, that is definitely in the realm of possibility. And that is exactly why we always use stop loss on our trades and manage our risk. So that is the current plan. I'm long from $70,550. The targets above are clearly mapped out. As always, this is not financial advice and manage your risk. Let me know in the comments what you guys think and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.